welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, this particular violent, border breaking, illegal immigrant that was from Guatemala, murdered. This black woman or black American woman in Maryland. But we supposed to protect illegal immigrants' rights. What? But again, we're supposed to protect border breaking illegal immigrant rights. Within Black Americanism, collectively are the most openest culture ever to exist within America. And unfortunately, for so many generations, especially for over the last probably 50 years, so many other cultures and backgrounds, including situations with border break illegal immigrants, have sat there and used the kindness of Black Americans for other people's agendas. And unfortunately, for again, probably about 50 or 60 something years, but especially around about 50 something years, starting even more, that millions of Black Americans have just been so open. And people have taken advantage of the kindness of Black Americans. So in this situation right here, you see this disgusting, vile cretin, border breaking illegal immigrant that was from Guatemala. He murdered this innocent 19-year-old Black American woman. And I've done shows, some other shows and things similar to some other border break illegal immigrants doing what they were doing and stuff like that. And here's the thing about it. It is such an insult that they expect American Blacks by the millions to sit there and protect border breaking illegal immigrants. When at the same time, when you ask other people, hey, all this Black pain that's going on toward Black Americans every day. Hey, are you going to stand with Black Americans? This is what many of them do. Yes, because first of all, they're a border break illegal immigrants. Just like some various other people, I'm not getting into that topic today. They're only looking out to try to get theirs. And they're saying to hell with Black Americans is what they're thinking. They said to hell with Black Americans. They are out for theirs. And so here these things with ICE this and ICE that. Oh my goodness. But the previous 4 years, there were record-breaking, border-breaking illegal immigrants coming into the U.S. Let me put this again. The prior 4 years, there was record-breaking, border-breaking illegal immigrant numbers. And these various pro-illegal immigrant organizations, these other type of infiltrator tethers that are in various parts of Black organizations, you have all these other type of various type people. They quiet on that because there's an agenda to that. And they're trying to push out as many Black Americans in various positions as they can, right? Because they know many numbers of American Blacks, but very few exceptions. They don't know the games. That's what's going on. Say, for instance, this is going to be a real short show. This is one of the other shows. Let me show you something right quick. This was another show I did not too long ago. Black American woman murdered by 6 illegal immigrants, be it direct and indirect. This is not play time, right? This is not playtime. Black American woman murdered by 6 border breaking illegal immigrants. This is not play. I did this on my podcast, The Real CP Show. On that was one of them I did. Let me stop sharing that screen. But at the same time, you got personnel, they're like this. Oh, well, I guess, right? Now, one of the other shows I did as well was on this show, because see, people play this little game toward Black Americans so many times, and I get so tired that there's just not enough Black Americans to see through these disgusting tactics. But this is another show I did. Now, even though this scamming particular Mexican border breaker illegal immigrant woman, it wasn't violence that she did, but it was scamming she did. And she's a liar. This Mexican woman, border breaker, legal immigrant, undocumented, lied about being kidnapped by immigration enforcement, right? And you see, I did that on the Real CP Show on this situation. Because these things, I've heard it how many times? Oh my goodness. And so people know what I'm talking about. People breaking up families. This system has been breaking up Black American families for centuries. Where's all these same people at jumping up and down about that? They don't care. And it's getting out of hand that there's millions of American Blacks that are being this naive to not see through these games. I'm talking about there's only but a few small exceptions within American Blackism that ain't falling for this, because you cannot have any kind of logicalness if there is more than half of American Blacks that do these games. These games cannot be succeeding like this toward Black Americans collectively. Prior to around 2000 plus or minus, Black Americans were the second largest population next to however personnel within the Panama-based culture, because there are some little fake pseudo Caucasian ones, right, that slid under the banner of Caucasian, but they'll slide back out and say they're a pseudo minority. But when it comes down to sitting there trying to slide under predominant-based culture, socialness, right, acceptability, they just say white. Oh, the game is strong. But in this situation right here, this topic and this particular other podcast I did, this border breaker illegal immigrant, let me see, give me a second. Right here, Mexican national border breaker illegal immigrant, she was charged in federal criminal complaint with staging fake immigration kidnapping, right? You had videos sitting there showing her where nowhere near any kind of iceness. She actually lied. And you had her family, I think they was either starting up a GoFundMe or maybe they was trying to get a GoFundMe, and they had numbers of the family members crying and everything like that. And they found out that either they were on the ploy, direct or indirect, right? And that story went away. You see how these little disgusting tactics go, right? And again, they expect Black Americans to just fall for these kind of games continuously, right? So let me stop doing that one. Let me pause on that one. Now let me go ahead and share my screen, and let me go ahead and play this particular video. I get so tired of these little, what should be infantile level games that continue to be played toward millions of Black Americans. And it's like, it's understandable. Give me a second here. It's understandable. Make sure you can see this. It's understandable to be open and want to help certain people, whatever, certain person. I got it. But Black Americans have been a scapegoat for so many cultures and backgrounds, including border breaker illegal immigrants, right? People expect, again, Black Americans to sit there and fight for the rights of border breaker illegal immigrants, march against ICE and everything like that. But when you ask the same type people, hey, what are you going to do for Black Americans? They disappear. So let me go ahead and play this particular video on this situation on here. And I'm utilizing these things for time, peace purposes, and also this is under fair use doctrine.
Tonight, WJZ investigates uncovering new information about the murder of a 19-year-old whose body was dumped over a bridge near Annapolis. A suspect we know in custody tonight, and authorities say he's in the country illegally. Investigator Mike Halgren live in Anne Arundel County with what he's in the country illegally. He's in the country illegally. Saying he's in the country illegally. Investigator Mike Halgren live in Anne Arundel County with what charging documents reveal about this man and the case. Mike, good evening.
Good evening, Rick. 7 pages of detailed charging documents. This suspect was from Guatemala. According to court records, he worked for a Baltimore-based landscaping company. Police used surveillance video and cell phone tracking to build their case. This suspect is now being held without bail. And a warning, some of the details you're about to hear are disturbing.
This is a good young woman who wanted to do good for her community.
Have you seen Dakara?
A heartbreaking end to the search for 19-year-old Dakara Thompson. Her family desperately looked for answers for weeks.
I want my baby back. I just simply want my daughter back.
Police found Thompson's body on Route 50 near Interstate 97 in the Annapolis area. According to charging documents WJZ Investigates obtained, the suspect, 35-year-old Hugo Hernandez Mendez, threw her body off a highway bridge into the South River. 35-year-old Hugo Hernandez obtained. The suspect, 35-year-old Hugo Hernandez Mendez, threw her body off a highway bridge into the South River.
But at the same time, we're supposed to just act like this is not happening. We're supposed to fight for border break illegal immigrants who would step right past the bodies of Black Americans left and right. Do you see the sickness of that? And they know it. And they use that against Black Americans every day. With small exceptions of Black Americans who ain't falling for these little tactics. But it's not enough of Black Americans that are not tired enough of allowing people to keep scapegoating Black Americans.
She had skull and facial fractures. Her family identified. The suspect, 35-year-old Hugo Hernandez Mendez, threw her body off a highway bridge into the South River. She had skull and facial fractures. Her family identified her through tattoos.
At this time, there are no additional suspects. However, this investigation is ongoing.
Thompson, who lived with her dad, disappeared after going out to get gas. She sent him this text.
I should be back soon. I love you too. Good night.
The 19-year-old is seen on surveillance video leaving her SUV behind in Hyattsville. According to charging documents, she approached the suspect's GMC Yukon and after approximately a minute of conversing, walks over to the passenger side of the vehicle and gets into the passenger.
Now, there is some questionableness on that, right? When she left her father's house. Yes, there are some questionable things on that, right? Unfortunately. And there are some people, yes, within certain parts of American Blackism, even some that saw this story, many have not. Well, no. Because she did lie. And unfortunately, she got with this border break illegal immigrant. For some people who know that, knowing for whichever scenario, right? That video right here is showing that she got out of her vehicle. She told her dad that she's just going to get some gas. So we can't be in denial mode. And unfortunately, there are quite a number within American Blackism, these kind of stories that get in denial mode. She know what she was doing. Now, with that being said, for her to be murdered by this violent, cretin, demonic border break illegal immigrant is beyond unnecessary.
After approximately a minute of conversing, walks over to the passenger side of the vehicle and gets into the passenger front seat. Police say they drove to his house in Bowie and believe he killed her in his bedroom. A room gets into the passenger front seat. Vehicle and gets into the passenger side of the vehicle. Approximately a minute of conversing, walks over to the passenger side of the vehicle and gets into the passenger front seat. Police say they drove to his house in Bowie and believe he killed her in his bedroom. A roommate reports hearing the defendant having sex and then a grunting noise, which made it believe that someone wasn't enjoying the sex. After executing a search warrant, police found what they believed to be the victim's blood and missing fingernail, along with hair and other evidence in the bedroom and in the trash, along with multiple pairs of women's underwear and lingerie. Hernandez Mendez agreed to an interview, telling detectives he went to a nightclub to meet his ex-girlfriend, but never did. When detectives questioned further, the defendant denied any involvement. Prince George's officials say Hernandez Mendez was in the United States illegally. You question further, the defendant denied any involvement. Prince George's officials say Hernandez Mendez was in the United States illegally.
But at the same time, you have pro-border breaking or illegal immigrant organizations with their little demonic selves, pro-open border organization with their demonic selves. Unfortunately, you have some gullible certain ones within certain types of American Blackism with small amount, with their numbers of naive selves. The list goes on. And it is disgusting that the games that are played on people's minds to be like, you know what? Look what ICE is doing. They're doing this to immigrants and all these other people. And then the nerve, some people would try to play games, say, oh, they're deporting Black Americans. They're not deporting Black Americans. Oh, you're crazy. You can't deport Black Americans. Black Americans have been in this country for centuries. Some may have got accidentally rounded up because there are also some black skin tether versions out there. We don't want to talk about that. They also use Black Americans, by the way, and cosplay Black Americans and stuff like that. But when it comes down to standing together, they disappear, which is a whole different topic in itself. But this border breaker right here is a cretin. He took the life. He murdered this innocent Black American woman. When I say innocent, I'm talking about how she did not deserve to be murdered by this border breaker illegal immigrant who was also convicted of DUI. And however many times he came to this country illegally, but you got people out there sitting there fighting for these little demonic border breaker illegal immigrants. I can't have respect for people that are that darn lost on this. I cannot. Give me a second. Give me one moment here. Oh, it's so sad.
U.S. Park Police arrested him for a DUI 5 months ago, but let him go.
The U.S. Government has made status of individuals relevant. This was someone who was in their custody, and they made the decision to release him. So I think the questions should be asked of the Justice Department.
And ICE has now issued a detainer for the suspect. Now, the victim worked for a nonprofit that was one of Governor Moore's initiatives, and the governor tonight is calling her a bright light, and he is promising accountability for anyone responsible for her murder. We're live in your corner in Anne Arundel County. Mike Helgren, WJZ.
But at the same time, you got personnel that act like that they didn't see what they saw. But they expect Black Americans to sit there and help out in fighting for the rights of border breaker illegal immigrants. But look at this, because I'm about to close this show. Let the Negro fight for his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him. Felix Terragina, Mexican-American president of LULAC, 1956 to 1960. And you have personnel that do just like this. Well. But at the same time, when you say, hey, okay, you want Black Americans to help fight? What are y'all going to do to help Black Americans fight this Black pain that's been going for centuries? This is what they do. You say, what do they do? When they want Black Americans to fight border breaking legal immigrants' rights, fight for other people's rights, fight for alternative lifestyle rights, fight for Black adjacent cosplaying Black skin ones. I'm not talking about some of the good brothers and sisters from certain parts of Africa, certain parts of the Caribbean. I'm talking about some of the good ones. Those are very small that are allowed to come to America. But Black America is supposed to fight for various people's rights. But when it comes down to sit there and helping Black Americans, we just don't need anybody else because they've been fighting their battles for centuries. But it's like, okay, you want Black Americans to help y'all out. What are you going to do to sit there and be right by Black Americans? What are you going to do? This is what they do. Yes, that's what they do. And it's a very extremely insulting like this. Yes, that is what they're doing. They're doing this again. Yes, that's what they're doing toward millions of American Blacks. They're insulting millions of American Blacks and sitting there playing these little infantile tactics, right? And a small percentage of exceptions of American Blacks that are not falling for these games. Because American Blacks can't go break immigration laws left and right. And certainly in this situation right here, what do you think would have happened if this guy right here would have been a Black American male and he was in another country and he broke immigration laws and he took the life of a 19-year-old Hispanic woman, or another country, say Asia, whatever that's supposed to mean, because Asia is a continent. It's made up of dozens of countries. Just like, I don't go into all that. There's a different kind of gays in itself that people just utilize broad terminology, saying Asia, and Asia is made up of, again, several different countries and however many islands and etc. And it's a continent. Just like when somebody says Hispanic, those are game terminology words because Hispanic only means speaking Spanish. And there's Afro Hispanic personnel, but they're not talking about them because they got their own stuff they got to deal with. So you see these games that continue to keep going on. It's a foul, disgusting tactic game to me, but it's a brilliant tactic. It's not even brilliant. No. It's the infantile tactic. Because when you see through these games, you can't unsee these kind of games that's being played. Because again, when you look at this again in closing the show, let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him, this white Mexican president of LULAC, Felix Terragina, Mexican American president of LULAC, 1956 to 1960. He didn't say let the Asian fight his own battles, let the Native American fight their own battles, let the white man or the white woman fight their own various battles, let however other people fight their own battles. He said let the Negro fight his own battles. But at the same time, they have various types of Hispanic organizations, et cetera, and groups and other people, the ones applies to, that expect Black Americans to fight for their rights. Do you see the most sickness of that? But again, when you say, what are you going to do to be by Black Americans and demand politicalness, finally give reparations to Black Americans who've earned it, like they give Native Americans, where we call that, because you got $5 Indians, $50 Indians that sit there are Caucasian primarily, and they put their names on a roll for $255 and call themselves Native Indians, the one it applies to, and how many of them get reparations. But that's a whole different topic, right? You don't have people jumping up and down about that. And the number one group in America that has the most hatred put upon them is American Blacks, that has the most hate crimes put upon American Blacks. Is American Blacks. The most hate crimes in America is toward American Blacks, but you got people acting as if American blacks are the ones who are the most criminality. The insulting of that tax. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show.